Let us welcome the eighth speaker. The eighth speaker is Ms. Ruri Kojima from Waseda University. She will deliver her speech under the title of Hope for the Best, Prepare for the Worst. Hope for the Best, Prepare for the Worst. Ms. Kojima, please come up to the stage and set our clock forward.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies and distinguished judges. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Life is like working on a painting. When you are a newborn baby, you are like a blank canvas waiting to be filled with knowledge and ideas. Like many children, I was very curious when I was a small girl. I would often ask adults around me a lot of why questions. Why don't the stars go to the ground? Why doesn't Grandpa have much hair? One day, I asked my mother a new why question. Mom, why am I an only child? I wish I had a brother or sister, just like my friends. And she said, please don't bring up this issue ever again. Losing her voice in tears. 10 years later, I finally found out why my words had made her cry. My mother had lost a baby before I was born because of a very common disease called rubella, known as Fushin in Japanese. After discovering this shocking truth, I couldn't stop thinking about how much pain she must have felt. So today, I'm here to spread the awareness of rubella and a simple way to prevent it, not only for future children, but also for us, adults, including future parents. Rubella is generally known as a mild typhoid disease characterized by slight fever and rash. Surprisingly though, adults tend to get rubella more often than children. According to Dr. Taya of the National Institute of Infectious Diseases, in recent years, 90% of the patients have been adults, and it is especially widespread among people aged from 20 to 40, the age of many of you in this hall, and when people often get married and have babies. So, how serious exactly is this disease? The answer is very. For soon-to-be mothers infected with rubella, there is a 90% chance that their children will get a congenital rubella syndrome, or CRS. CRS causes children suffer blindness, deafness, brain heart damage, or in the worst case, they die. I have just mentioned mothers, but I'm not talking about mothers only. When mothers get rubella, they get it from someone else. Who is this someone else? Well, it could be you. It could be me. It could be any of us. Fortunately, if you are already immune to rubella virus, you can avoid the risk of CRS up to 99%. The Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare recommends both men and women to get a vaccine twice before having a child. Now, how many of you can say with confidence that you have already been vaccinated twice? I assume most of you will say no. In fact, our survey conducted by the news agency Sankey Living indicates 54% of women are not doing anything special to avoid CRS, and the rate becomes much higher for men. There are just too many people who don't know what they should know. Then, why is that? The reason is very simple. Because people are not aware. According to Professor Hirose of Tokyo Women's Christian University, an expert on people's psychology at the time of crisis, people tend to underestimate the possibility of oncoming danger and its consequences. It can happen to me. It's no big deal. This is how people think and fall prey to the preventable disease, and they realize what's really going on when it's too late. Have you ever imagined that the cause of such a tragedy could be your own fault? Many parents often blame themselves for not having been able to take a very simple action before the nightmare begins. As you now know, my mother has suffered from this misery and regretted it for years and years. Ladies and gentlemen, we should do all we can do to prevent the tragedy so that we don't later regret our carelessness. So, what solution do we have? As I said previously, getting a vaccine twice before having a child is the best. In fact, the only solution to avoid CRS. But before that, you can easily check whether you are already immune to the disease or not. One way to do this is to ask your mother to show you a child health handbook. If there is a record that you have already been vaccinated twice, congratulations, you have passed the exam. If you cannot find a record, take a blood test at a nearby hospital, which is free of charge. If necessary, the doctor will advise you to get a vaccine. These simple steps are not rocket science. They are so easy, but they could change the life of a loved one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here just to make sure that you have got information. I'd like to say that now it is your turn to spread the awareness of rubella. We adults are the only ones who can save children from the tragedy. Children are blank canvases ready to be painted on. But if affected by this disease, they might not even have a canvas to start with. No opportunity for healthy and fulfilling life. It is the responsibility of us adults to make sure that no canvases are thrown away. We should do everything we can to prepare for the worst so that we can hope for the completion of beautiful paintings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kojima. Mr. Busher, please start the questions.
Ms. Kojima, thank you very much for the speech. First question, why do you think awareness of the rubella disease is not widespread? Why?
One of the reasons is because the government doesn't spread the information enough. And yeah, I think that's the main reason.
Is there an organization in Japan which focuses specifically on this disease?
Yes, there are some organizations, and one of the biggest organizations called Hand in Hand is working to donate money for the children who needs operations, the children who have CRS, or it is also working to spread the information of CRS in order to prevent having those children.
And is your solution simply to go to a clinic and get a vaccine? Is that your main solution?
Yes, I decided to make that as my solution because I thought that was the best way the individuals can do.
Okay. How is your mother doing right now? How has she been able to overcome her regrets?
Well, when she told me about the story of losing her child, she still had sad feelings, and at first she didn't want me to make this speech because she didn't want to listen about this issue. But now she's feeling positive because she thinks that by spreading this speech, many future parents and future children will be saved.
I've just got an extra question for you here. Recently, there's been a program by the government to increase tourism in Japan, and does that raise any other concerns for bringing in rubella from other countries for you, and what do you think about that?
Well, I heard that in East Asian countries, the risk of getting rubella is much higher than in Japan. So if the tourists are, we have to be aware if the tourists are coming from those countries. And also, when Japanese people are going to visit those kind of countries, I think it is really important to check about rubella, to check about themselves here. Yeah.
And also, many universities are trying to attract more students to their colleges and so on. Should those students be required to have blood tests when they begin their school years?
Well, I think it is quite difficult for the university to check every student. So I think individuals should make sure that they are prepared against rubella, and I also want people to spread the information to their friends or family.
In your research about rubella, did you come across any other diseases that people should be concerned about?
When having a child?
Yes.
Well, I think Zika, or there are some other diseases that we also have to be aware of, but I focus on rubella because it's personally related, and also I know that there is a concrete solution against this disease. So I chose this as my topic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Busher and Loki and Miss Kojima.